Hello, my name is Jewel. Many roles in a person's life were never consciously chosen. They were assigned. There may have been soul contracts or oversoul directives. They formed through family dynamics, work expectations, social patterns, or repeated reinforcement. Over time, the human operating system treats these roles as being required for stability. They become automatic. This video explains what unagreed roles are structurally, how they form, and why they feel difficult to release even when they are not true. Let's define what a role is structurally. In this series, a role is a repeated function the human operating system performs to preserve continuity. A role is a pattern of behavior, responsibility, emotional positioning, relational management, predictable output. Roles are often maintained because they reduce function. They make relationships, environments, and expectations more predictable. So the operating system uses them to stabilize interactions. Unagreed roles form through reinforcement, not conscious consent. A role forms when the system learns, if I do this, the environment or my identity stays stable. Examples include being the responsible one, being the mediator, being the calm one, being the fixer, being the one who doesn't need anything. These roles often appear early in life. It begins as an adaptation that reduces disruption. Over time, repetition turns the adaptation into a default function. The operating system stops asking whether the role is true. Instead, it treats the role as required. Once a role stabilizes, the operating system links it to continuity. If the role is interrupted, the system anticipates consequences, conflict, disappointment, rejection, instability, loss of approval. This anticipation creates pressure to maintain the role. Even when the person no longer believes the role is accurate, the system may still treat it as necessary. This is why roles can feel non-optional, even when they are not consciously endorsed. Unagreed roles carry ongoing load. In other words, they consume time, attention, and internal energy because they require management. This is the ongoing load. They often require being hyper vigilant of others, anticipating needs, suppressing true signals, maintaining a predictable persona, preventing disruption. Over time, this produces exhaustion that people misinterpret as personal weakness. Structurally, it is a role load, not a weakness. The system is carrying functions that were never agreed to. In this series, role awareness increases in future videos. People begin noticing the role as a pattern, not as who they are. When that happens, several things can happen: discomfort, guilt, fear of consequence, perhaps pressure to return to the old way of doing things. These responses are not proof the role is correct. They are continuity responses. The operating system attempts to preserve the prior stabilizing pattern. But once the role is seen as an external load, it becomes harder to maintain unconsciously. The system begins reorganizing toward a lower load baseline. Many roles were never agreed to. They were adaptations that preserved stability. Over time, repetition turned them into default functions. The human operating system maintains these roles because it associates them with continuity. But roles are not identity. They are patterns of function. When the role becomes visible as a pattern, the system can begin releasing it, not through force, through recognition. As the series continues, the next videos will clarify why responsibility begins to feel heavy and how dependability may become a burden when it is role-based rather than structurally necessary.